like take the Boston game like to heart, or like oh, if they don't win this game, this is this, because I feel like every time the Leafs lose, it's a measuring stick game, but every time they win, it's like, oh, they just won. They're in like purgatory in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, they have that sense of like, when they win, it's kind of like well, you should have won, and then when they lose, it's
Yeah.
like disasterville, like fire everybody and trade everyone. They have a little bit of
Yep.
that, and I think that sucks. But I think like majority of the fan base has learned to enjoy the wins. Like, hell yeah, we beat up on this team and stuff, which is nice. But to go back to your question about the Bruins game, I feel like the players are like, everyone's asking them, "Are you ready for the vacation?" kind of thing, the All-Star break, all that stuff, and they're like, "Nah, we're focused on this game." But it's like, I don't know, man. like just the way they played. Like, I don't think they played necessarily bad, right? And I think it's biased when you watch your team against like another team. So I don't think they played bad, but they didn't win and they got smoked again. Their goaltending didn't really help. But I think my definitive opinion on the Leafs like going into playoffs this year, because we know they're playing Tampa because the NHL playoff format sucks ass. Okay, because we know. I'm done watching games, by the way. Like, what for? Because we know who they're playing. Call me in April. But my opinion now is the same. They're the same team they've always been. They're a really, really good team who's not ready for prime time. That's all it is.
Like I said, they're frauds.
Yep.
I think the Leafs. Another thing that's surrounding the Leafs is a lot of trade talk. Of course, because they're the Leafs, and the main name being brought up is Jake McCabe of the Blackhawks, and I'm like, the more I watch the Leafs, I do think they need to shore up some positions. I always think they need to grab another defenseman. They need another forward that can score. They have like it's been a problem for a long time now, and Jake McCabe, I don't know how much he moves the needle. Like, people are saying, "Oh, get Jake McCabe and then grab Max Domi, from them, make a deal out of that." And it's like, if that was the only trade Dubas made at the trade deadline, I'd be like, what is that really doing? You know what I mean? And that would be interesting. I don't know, Matt, if you've been keeping up with the Leafs trade talk at all. I'm sure anytime you scroll Twitter, it's always Leafs stuff. So what do you think's going on over there?
Yeah, the only thing I've been hearing is just like another like top six winger and then like defense talk. I know after the Bruins game there was a lot of, I don't want to say slander, just like a lot of like criticism of Sandin and Liljegren, which I mean
It
they're
is
still
tough
young
game.
defensemen. It's not really warranted. Like if it's like veteran defensemen, okay, they've been around the way in the league, right? But I mean, that's just unwarranted. It's the Bruins, right? That's like the creme de la creme of the league, and then two young defensemen had a bit of a rough game. Just move on to the next one. There's really no need to look on it as if they're awful defensemen. But
I,
Yeah.
Leafs fans just it's the doomers that sort of set it aside from the rest.
Well, no, the Leafs fans love living in the moment of the game and not
Yeah.
like big picture.
which
I
is
think
which
that's
is fun sometimes.
sometimes.
Yeah, but okay. My big thing that everyone is talking about too is like you brought it up with the Jake McCabe thing. Dubas doesn't have a contract after this year. No signs that he's going to sign one. We have no idea. There's no word on it. Shanahan is up, right? Forget the players. Like the GM and the president are up, right? And there's talk of you guys going to get Jake McCabe to make your Stanley Cup run. Like it literally doesn't make sense to me. That's my whole thing. Like, how do you not trade?
Player, good player, good player, Jake McCabe. But like,
I know, no. But if you're going for a Stanley
come
Cup,
on,
look at who the Bruins bring in every trade deadline, for example, right? Big fishes. They make it work. My thing is like everyone's like tiptoeing around, like don't trade Matthew Nyes. Trade Sandin for a top guy. Like you don't have a contract next year. Go for the cup. If you believe in this team, you're not going to be here next year if you're the GM. That's what it looks like right now. Go
you gotta
for
pull.
it. Go for it. And if
Remember,
it fails, at least you went down trying.
you remember when when Alex Anthopoulos for the Jays just traded everyone, and then the Jays went on like a run,
Yeah.
and then he was like, "All right, y'all be easy now, though."
I know.
That was
Yeah,
so
yeah,
funny.
yeah. No, but like this, like obviously he's gonna get back pressure. Dubas, this is from like up top. Like you don't have a contract. Maybe you might have to run trades by some people before he like sells the farm because he's like screwed. I won't even be here. But like honestly speaking, like if your big thing is going out and getting Jake McCabe, like what are you doing? Like, the team is not good enough to win Stanley Cup. We know that.
I would love for them to go the Tampa route. Every year, you rebuild your third line. You know what I mean? You upgrade the fuck out of it because you need those guys. Like every year, they go get someone. Nick Paul and Brandon Hagel last year. Before that, it was Barclay Goodrow and fucking who was the other guy?
Oh, Blake Coleman.
Blake Coleman. Yeah, it's like what? They're trading first round picks for all these guys, but they go out there in the playoffs. You know they play a playoff style hockey, and the fucking Leafs. Oh, the Tampa knows the regular season.
Tampa
okay,
knows.
Yeah, of course. Like Stamkos is gonna get his. Kucherov's gonna get his. When in the playoffs, it really matters when those guys are on the ice that you're winning those minutes. You know what I mean? So I say, you swing for a top. You need a top 6 left winger. You need that. I love Kelly Arncroke. I think he's been cool, but I think he'd be a lot better as a third line guy, and pushing down a little trickle
100%,
effect.
100%.
And I also wouldn't mind. Like, what are we really doing here? Like, go for it, man. Look at the team you have. Look at the team you assembled. I think they're putting out everything I think is like they think Matthew Knies is gonna be like Cale Makar and like come in the league and like score 7 goals or like in the playoffs or something. Like, no, man. Like Cale Makar came into the league and he was the first, like one of the best defensemen in the league almost immediately. It was insane how good he was. But Matthew Knies is a 2nd round pick, so I don't know how much stock we're putting into that. So
and he could turn into a great player. And I know you want to move on from the segment, but he could turn into a great player, and that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, like, with everyone's ass on the line, especially this year, everyone's. If you truly believe in this group because you've kept them together this whole time, especially after the last 2-3 years of what's happened, how are you going out and getting more tiny little depth pieces that might not even play? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? And like I said, like Sandin's a great player too, and I think he'll be great. But if you're looking at the bigger picture, and Dubas, you might not be back next year, Shanahan, all these guys, why wouldn't you trade a young guy in Sandin for a bona fide player? Go for it. We are going for the Stanley Cup this year. Like, instead of another first round loss, what's that going to get you? You're not getting re-signed if they lose in the first round again this year. You think Dubas and Shanahan, do they even know what's on the line this year? Everything. This is the all or nothing season.
And it's like, we say that every year, but I also think that
Leafs fans.
It's like, even I think Kyle Dubas is one of the best GMs in the league. I really think he is. But at some point, man, you gotta do it.
It's just a vicious cycle. Like every single year, like you said, Nick, it's the all or nothing season, and then in the end, it's nothing. And then Leafs fans are, I'm going to stop being a fan, but in October, game 1, they're right there watching the teams.
Most passionate sports fans, though, man.
I think
sports is so reactionary, generally speaking, so it's interesting for sure.
It's like, I hate this team. I'll see you all next game.
For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.